people doubted me, and then I went in there and I thought I put on a damn good performance. And now it's time to defend this shit and get another one because this one's dirty. I got this one dirty. I gotta make sure the next one stays nice and clean. You know what I mean?
100%, man. But you know what? You sent me a photo of you and the belt out fishing and stuff like that, man. I love it, bro. I love that you take it with you and like just really embracing it, man. Because I feel like BKFC, is one of those sports that really came in. And, when it first started to launch, I was keeping a close eye on it. I was seeing the sort of ramblings that people were saying, this is brutal, this was everything like that. But also remembering what it was like when the UFC started, and it was the same thing. And now 30 years later, the UFC is this worldwide phenomenon and pretty much one of the premier combat sports. I think BKFC, man, that's like fighting at its most primal, and I think that it's only going to get bigger and better from here.
I expect like within even like where are we at now? 5 years, 5 years, and we already had Conor McGregor ringside. Conor McGregor went in there, like that was huge for our sport, and people don't realize how leveled that. Like people realize it, like the true fans,
Yeah.
but some of the people that just kind of are scrolling through Instagram and see it, they don't realize how big this is going to be. So I would love to have this sport be bigger than the UFC one day. Just one of the reasons is it's fucking cool, and I'm one of the first. I made history in this sport. It's kind of crazy. Like it's just I hope it gets to the UFC. I think it can. I think we need like a solid 5 to 10 years. Like 10 years would surprise me. 5 years would be like I can see it, just because it's brutal.
Yeah.
Like Connor said, no boring fights. There really is no boring fights.
That's the thing, man. You take those gloves off, man, and it's like you have to stand there and trade. Like, I feel like if it was MMA type rules, whereas like guys would definitely, probably go more of the grappling round to sort of sustain getting that much damage in fights. But like it is a very primal sort of thing. And I've spoken to a couple of the guys from Power Slap as well, and that's another thing that I just look at and it's like, what I mean? Like it's such a, what I mean? Like these two things are so brutal to see. And I feel like this is like the next step of combat sports. This is like the evolution of combat sports. What I mean? When you've seen boxing, then, Muay Thai, then you've seen, UFC. This is like the next evolution of combat.
I 100% agree. And bare knuckle MMA that excites me for way down the road. Like right now, I'm finding my groove, and bare knuckle boxing is my thing.
Yeah.
Excelling, but I'm also a longtime wrestler, so I think bare knuckle MMA would be super cool. But there's no promotions anywhere near BKFC, so it's like, why?
Yeah. 100%. Why get in there for little to no payoff? And what I mean, for a professional fighter on the level that you're at, it would make no sense to go down on a card that way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I totally agree. I like right now I'm gonna bleed black and yellow for as long as I can. It's such a danger in terms of longevity. I feel like it's such a dangerous sport because of scar tissue. Like, because once you start getting opened up consistently, like it's over. Like doctors will stop your fights, and so I'm just gonna ride this wave as long as I possibly can.
100%, man. And 22 years of age, bro. Like that's insane, man. To be able to be this young and to be able to achieve this level of history, history so early on in your career. Do you, like after, because you are 4-0 in BKFC, do you have like a fear of like long term down the road? Like, how has it been the recovery after each of these fights?
This fight, because I'm so like happy and excited, I'm riding this crazy adrenaline wave. Like it still hasn't like set in that I'm a world champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these cuts were baby cuts, and this one on this side was reopened from my last fight. Now let's go back to the Rusty Crowder fight. That was an okay payday. That was it was okay, but I wasn't the main deal. I didn't win a belt. and I had this huge gash on my face. You can kind of see it on one of these sides. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But the big split down my face, that shit sucked. Like I couldn't hardly sleep at night because like my whole forehead was tender. It was so deep.
Yeah.
Um, and my hands, like after the last fight too, they were way more swollen. This fight, there's a little bit that I'm gonna go get checked out, but this has been easy. And so I don't know. There's misconception to it because obviously some are worse than others. Some people get like really big cuts. Some people get little cuts. Um, I don't know. It's weird to me because I was always scared of the cuts aspect of sports, even just in MMA. But it's really not that bad.
You mentioned the hands. So the hand wrapping and the hand taping has that been something that you found has evolved over the time of BKFC? Like, has it always been that specific style? Have they always had it? Has it been something that they've incorporated to protect the wrist and hand, or is it just sort of something they've had from the start?
So they've had hand wraps. They used to allow people to really puff like I don't know what they were because this was before my time,
Sure.
but it looked like their wrists were massive from having a wrist guard or something to really protect your wrist. They did away with those, but part of me just wish like I do think it helps your wrist. Part of me wishes that we just had to tape the thumb and we could tape just the wrist, which I think you can do. But my coach likes me to protect my hands, and most people I see go above the hand here instead of just stay on the wrist. I think the tape is one of the reasons there's so many cuts.
Really?
Yeah, I like it's
That's cool.
abrasive. It really is abrasive. But that's speaking from zero experience. I don't want to say anything dumb, but it's I don't know. I wish that there was a way to test that and see where most of the cuts are coming from. Because look at a bar fight. Like even though they're not trained killers, trained professionals, even if people are connected heavy, there's no crazy cuts typically. Obviously, there's exceptions and there will be cuts, but
Sure, yeah.
it's just to me, it's like I don't know. The hand wraps are something, but they definitely protect your hand because I was throwing some heat and I haven't broke my hands yet. So
How have you found, like, obviously, coming into it, you mentioned having a wrestling background and you have fought MMA previously as well. That I saw you've had one fight in MMA. How do you find the difference between having like this, like an MMA glove to having no glove? Like, what's it like after the fight, after striking, using the different gloves or using an MMA glove compared to no glove?
honestly, the MMA gloves slip off the Vaseline, so your punches aren't connecting as good. And I
Mm,
also think that's part of the reason why bare knuckle is like quote unquote safer for you because you're absorbing less hits because the hits are bigger. I think the repeated from gloves, the mobility. It's awesome being able to go like this if you need to rest your hands. Like in MMA
mm,
gloves, we're basically stuck like this the whole time, and it's like being able to like move your hand. Like your fingers go to sleep sometimes. Like mine have gone to sleep sometimes. Maybe that's.
mm.
And my coach is really good at hand wrapping too, so it's like I know they're not like but yeah, you can grab onto your opponent better. It
Mm.
I love I've never thought I'd ever love bare knuckle. I thought like but I love it. Every aspect, the no gloves, the cut
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird.
What was the like to get into bare knuckle? What was it that excited you about it at first? Like, what was the first thing that piqued your interest about?
Honestly, the money. And honestly, I don't get paid crazy money. Like
Sure.
but my debut for bare knuckle, um, well, for MMA was 500 and 500. And I go into bare knuckle, and it's just like a significant step up from what in comparison to MMA. And I'm a businessman. Like I'm all about the business side of this, and I just happen to be mentally built for the fight.
Yeah.
Um, I knew I was gonna be a showman, whether it was in music, comedy, movies. I don't know. I was gonna try because I love the show.
Yeah.
Um, wow, that dab fucked me up. I'm rambling.
Nah, man, you're all good, bro. I'm just really enjoying this conversation, man. No,
but
please.
but but yeah, the money, it's just made dollars make sense, you know, and yeah, and here we are. I was actually going to use my check to buy a boxer, no, a French bulldog, a puppy,
Oh, they're the best.
and then I ended up not getting the puppy,
Yeah.
and now I'm a world champion. So there is just some shit go down, man. Like, I love
100%.
it. I love it. Nobody can take this away from me now. You know that's something for forever.
Yeah, man. 100%. But like, do you feel like, with now the BKFC as it is growing, this is now a major competitor for a company like UFC where it gives fighters another like avenue to really go and flourish?
Yeah, I think the David Feldman, the main G of freaking combat sports right now.
Yeah.
I think he's doing all the right things, and I I definitely think that they're a major competitor. However, here's what I'm going to say. However, they are getting a lot of young talent.
Mm.
Um, like Bryce Henry, for example. I did not know he was 22 as well, and he killed it. He's crushing it right now. I'm turning 23 tomorrow, and
Hey, happy birthday.
thank you, thank you. But one thing that we've seen over the course of the last 5 years, with the exception of it's picking up some newcomers, is the UFC is this is most people's like last resort, last option. Like they're on their way out. Like look at Joe Riggs, he needs to be out. Like, get out.